Hi, it's Michelle from Cozyegg, and today is Wednesday, August 4th, 2021. This is episode 107. This is a video about primarily cross stitch. There's a little bit of books and reading thrown in there. Sometimes there's a cat that walks across the screen. Who knows? But it is primarily cross stitch. So let's get started. Of course, the first thing to note is that I have new accoutrement. I just recently got my very first pair of glasses, and Eric has set up my light so that hopefully if I don't move my head too much, we won't get a reflection. Fingers crossed. I make no guarantees about not moving my head around. So this is my first pair of glasses, and it's a little bit to get used to. So they are progressives, and I've really never had glasses before. I do wear cheaters to stitch. I've been having to do that on the higher count linens for a little while, but it was just getting to the point where distance was starting to become a little bit of an issue. Working at my computer was becoming a little bit of an issue. Seeing my phone and reading was becoming a little bit of an issue. So here we are. Yeah. I'm still getting used to them, like I said, not just looking through them and trying to, figure out where I'm supposed to look, but I am also getting used to them just seeing them on my face. So anyway, that's probably the big news in town. So, okay, so what else has been going on? So it has been quite some time since I recorded. I think the last time I recorded was the solstice, so June 21st-ish. So obviously some time has passed since then. Yeah. I could give you an explanation. It really doesn't matter, but really I think what it boils down to is that I have been having a bit of a rough time lately. I have started working in my new capacity as as basically a team lead position. So I now am responsible for people. And there's just, it's been a lot. Things have been very busy, and just that added pressure of a new position and wanting to, do well and not mess things up, and make sure that my people are supported, and all that good stuff. So it's been stressful, and it's just been sort of a series of weeks that I've been dealing with that. There have been some other things going on. I have a very dear friend of mine passed away just a few days ago, so I'm sort of dealing with that as well. So I'm going to try to keep it together for this video, but I make no guarantees. So, but if you're new here, surprise, I occasionally get emotional and go off on wild tangents. If you're not new here and you are a returning viewer, clearly you are okay with my brand of crazy / melancholy. So, welcome. Okay. So, what else has been going on? So Eric and I have been watching some interesting things on TV. I think I mentioned last time that we were rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer from the beginning, and so we watched all 7 or so seasons of that, which was enjoyable. And I think I've only seen the whole thing fully through once. So, you know, it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. I was glad we watched it. But then we went, you know, looking around for, okay, now what are we going to watch? And I have to be kind of, we decided, it may take me a little while to get through the story. Just because my brain is just not processing on all cylinders. So, but we're here, we're doing a video, it's fine. Okay, so after we watched Buffy, we did not want to jump right into watching Angel. So instead, we were searching around for something. We did watch the new season of The Expanse. We watched the last season of Bosch, you know, etc. Enjoyable. I think I've talked about The Nevers also. If you haven't seen that, you should watch it. But then we decided to take a little walk down memory lane, and we watched Buck Rogers, which was on when I was young, so I sort of grew up with that. And Buck Rogers, yeah, so Buck Rogers is pretty dated, let's say. I mean, now, a lot of times when you watch these older shows nowadays, you know, they're very clearly dated. This one was way more dated than I really expected it to be. Like, obviously there were some of the special effects that were okay, you know, that were a little but there were just so many things about it that I was like, really? So I was telling some friends of mine. So, for example, there is this scene where, you know, Buck, of course, has gone like 500 years into the future, and so he's, you know, he, of course, is, you know, has this frame of reference from his time period, and so he's on this you know, in the future, and he decides that he's going to try to do something to sort of, you know, decorate his space and make it a little more homey and livable. And so he brings in this table and puts this red and white checkered tablecloth over it. He has this sort of stained glass, you know, pendant light hanging over it. He etc. And I'm like, so basically he is turning his room into a Pizza Hut. Now, if you are not of the age where you remember going to Pizza Hut and dining in They had, like, what I remember about it is those red and white laminate tablecloths, the, you know, pendant lights, those red plastic cups, you know, that were textured and always, you know, chipped at the top. And the other thing that I remember is that they had at the Pizza Hut we used to go to, they had a jukebox. And, you know, that was always the main entertainment while we were there, was getting to play songs on the jukebox. So anyway, there was another episode where they were having a banquet for the princess, who has, you know, come to be entertained. And the entertainment was basically, you know, a roller disco kind of routine, where people had on, you know, leotards and roller skates and headbands and, you know, the whole 9 yards. So, yes, Buck Rogers. So once we finished Buck Rogers, and I will just say, there were 2 seasons of Buck Rogers. Do not watch the second season. The second season is probably why it got canceled. First season, pretty good. You know, with the caveat of it being quite dated. Second season, don't even bother. Just don't even bother. I'm going to see if I can just, maybe if I, there we go. Let's see how that does. Okay. So we watched Buck Rogers. After that, we decided, what else can we find out here on Tubi? Well, we could find Battlestar Galactica, which was my all-time, hands down, favorite TV show growing up. We're talking classic Battlestar Galactica, of course. And we are talking Dirk Benedict Starbuck, of course. So we watched Battlestar Galactica, and strangely, even being basically the same time period, Battlestar Galactica is not nearly as dated as Buck Rogers is. Now, Eric's theory is because Buck Rogers is coming from, you know, that time period to the future, and that's why. Maybe not. But Battlestar Galactica, well worth a watch. There apparently was also a 1980s reboot of Battlestar. We watched one episode and I was like, nope. It was kind of like Battlestar Galactica meets Chips. Nope. So we were done with that. We haven't decided what to watch next. But actually we have. We're watching Discovery of Witches. So, but who knows where our television wanderings will take us after this. We did, of course, watch the new Battlestar Galactica a few years ago, and I loved it. Eric was okay, you know. He's hard to please, but I loved it. So, but it was nice to now see the original again, because it's been many years since I saw the original. So, that's what we've been watching on TV. All right. So, along the lines of being scattered and unable to concentrate and tell a clear and concise story from start to finish, that's kind of how my stitching has gone as well. So, I'm going to show you many things that I worked on. I had this momentary thought of titling this video Becky with the Good Hair. If you are a Beyonce fan, you will understand that reference. but basically I got severely sidetracked by some other things when I needed to be concentrating on my main focus, which is Sarah Ann Banton. Instead, I was spending time with some side chicks. So let's discuss. I had one finish, and I don't ever think I even posted it on Instagram. It was kind of a in and out, quick kind of thing. And speaking of, because I just saw someone comment on one of my photos, speaking of, can we just talk about when you post a photo of yourself and you're like, hey, I have glasses, blah, blah, whatever, and someone feels the need to comment and say, you should smile? Really? No, I'm definitely not going to. What was I doing? I was looking for this finished photo. See, I can't even. Y'all, it's gonna be a ride. That's all I can say. All right, so a friend of mine, her daughter recently got married. I believe this is their first Christmas together. And so she asked this group of friends if we would each stitch an ornament for her. I agreed to this and then promptly forgot it for the next 7 months until it was like, oh crap, it's due, as per my usual. So I picked an ornament that I believe is by, not Little House, Country Cottage? Country Cottage. I think this is Country Cottage. It was in one of the Just Cross Stitch, and it's called Merry and Bright. And I severely modified it. So, and all I have is a photo because I sent the thing off. So, there you go. That's about as good as you're gonna get. So, it was a whole big thing, really. It was a whole big, thing that had like Merry and Bright up here, and then it had some schmutz down at the bottom. And I stitched this on 28 count silk weaver, something or other. That was this really pretty green. I think it was called Everglade, maybe. But at 28 count, I was like, this sucker's getting big. I'm not putting all that schmutz. I'm just not. Plus, I'm in a hurry. So I modified it. I did put, some of these little snowflakes around here. I did sort of rearrange the packages a little bit with some help from my friends. And I think it turned out pretty cute. And so she has, we all sent our things in, and then she was sending that to her finisher to do all the finishing. So in and out. Yeah. So that was a start and a finish, a small distraction. And then, speaking of that group of friends, we did stitch at some point in June. It may have been the end of June. And so I got my Egypt garden out to work on again. So here's where we're at. And so this is a Chatelaine Designs Egypt garden, and I am stitching this with the called for silks and DMC and metallics and the kitchen sink on, I believe this is 32 count Days Gone by Silk Weaver. This is old school Silk Weaver. Let's just make that clear. Old school. So I have no idea if they have a color that matches this anymore. And even if they did, I don't know that you would get it. So anyway, Days Gone By. So it's a pretty, you know, sand kind of color, which is what I wanted. So I basically finished the fourth side of these stems for these lotus blossoms. And then I had some partial stitches that I needed to come in here and do, so I did that. And now I've got all four sides, and I can next start filling in the flowers themselves. But it's sparkly, as you can see. And this is my arrow to show me which way is up in case my needle minder gets turned around. But I love it. And I enjoy working on it because it's so different. And of course it's, you know, all Egypt all the time over here. In fact, I have on my, so this is one of my favorite things. And so it has Isis and Osiris. I have an Eye of Horus. Horus was their son. And then I have an Ankh on here for eternal life. So I just wear all of those together. And you can tell how much I wear this and handle these because they're so super shiny. So, I have another Egyptian pendant that I wear a good bit, but I have traded that out for this piece, which I got at Sacré-Cœur in Paris. But I'm thinking about putting that on a different chain and wearing it. Blood Milk Jewels has a piece that looks like this on the front, but the back is different, called 1,000 Sorrows, I think. So that made me think about this, so I got it out the other day and I've been wearing that. And then this is Labradorite, which is just stunningly beautiful. Sometimes you find them that are more purple, sometimes they're more blue. Mine, of course, is quite green. I love it. All right. Anyway, more to come, RE, Blood Milk Jewels. Anyway, all right, so I worked on Egypt Garden. What else did I work on? I worked on my From the Deep piece. This is an old Plum Street Samplers. There's the whole piece. I'm just stitching this part, not the words, because I want it to fit in a specific frame that I have. So sometimes I work on this when I'm on calls because I'm just doing fill-in now, so it's super boring. I have basting stitches here to just show me kind of where I need to be in order to accommodate my my frame. So not exciting, but I put some more stitches in on the background. And my friend Annette from Annette's Acre, you know, she was talking about putting, you know, stitches into a piece every day, you know, and doing a set number of minutes. I think, you know, 25 minutes a day, 7 days a week, something along those lines, which I think Michelle Bendy might be also doing. But I was thinking this might be a good candidate for that, but of course, as soon as I had the thought, then I haven't implemented, so. Yeah, So I have all the project bags out. This is a project bag made from fabric that Sylvia and I bought in Bavaria, and then she made the bags. Fun. And so this has several things in it. One of the things it has in it is my red chair sampler from Scarlet House that I got when I went to summer school that one time in 2014. And it's still in here. And I really would love to work on it, but I'm supposed to be focusing on things and not looking at other things. But man, the struggle is real. All right, so why did I get this bag out? Because it was the 4th of July. And so I, of course, decided I needed some excuse to stitch something else. Might as well be 4th of July. So I got this piece out that I started, I think, Election Day 2006. Not 2006, 2016. Hello. What year is it? 2016. So this is so I started it then and then I haven't touched it since. So this is the Lady Liberty sampler, Threads Through Time. Sylvia stitched this and then passed this on to me, and she also kitted it up for me. I just love it though. It's fun. And I think somebody just finished this. Was it Striped Rose? I think it was Striped Rose, Michelle. So here are the threads. These look like they're Vicky Clayton silks. Very pretty. And I don't know what this fabric is, but I think it's probably Lakeside, but I don't know. So I basically stitched this flag. I finished filling in the shield. The shield was actually charted in pink, and I apparently decided I didn't want it in pink, so I did it in red. So I finished the shield, and then I stitched the rest of the eagle. And then that felt like a good stopping point, so I put it down. That's probably closer to the accurate color of fabric. Yeah, that's closer. It's warmer. So yeah, so I enjoyed working on this for, 2-3 days. And then back it went into the bag before I got tempted by something else. And you're probably thinking to yourself, and then did you go back to Sarah? Nope. Here's my Tula Pink bag. This is from Parisville. I made this myself. It matches one that I made for Sylvia. And when I talk about Sylvia, I'm talking about Running with Needles and Scissors Sylvia. I made her a matching one, but in the pink colorway. And it's a vinyl front bag. A friend of mine, my friend Mary, gave me the M, so I put it on there. So I got this up, and like everyone else, I was shocked and surprised and saddened by the news that Barb Adams of Blackbird Designs had passed away over that 4th of July weekend. And it really kind of hit me. You know, I told some friends of mine that it feels like the world is different now. Because, you know, I've been a stitcher for a long time, and it kind of felt like, you know, Blackbird is something that has always been and always would be. And so to know that that may not be the case is, I don't know, it feels like the world is different. And I am, you know, I'm glad to see people, you know, getting their Blackbird pieces out and stitching on them. I'm glad to see people purchasing Blackbird charts. You know, we don't know what's going to happen with that, but I have so much Blackbird that if I stitch nothing but Blackbird from now until the end of my days, I'd be set. But yeah. Very sad. And, you know, I appreciated the, you know, the post that Alma has made. Very, very sweet to see their friendship over the years. So it felt like I needed to get this out and work on it. So I'm stitching this sampler from it, and it calls for, I'm using the called for fabric. Let's see what that is. Well, so it's Legacy by Picture This Plus. I'm using 40 count. It actually calls for 36. So Sylvia and I purchased this when it came out and started this together, and stitched on each other's pieces while we were together that year, whenever that year was. 2018, 2019? I don't know. So this is where I'm at. I have changed the colors. So there were, when I, you know, ordered the threads that I didn't have and got them in, there were several that were really close. The greens were really close, and the, you know, the sampler itself is very green and gold. And so I wanted to add a little bit of life to that. So I added in, I think I added in this dark brown. I added in this pink. And I think I pulled in Wood Rose, which is more of a dustier pink, almost kind of peach leaning. I don't remember which other ones I pulled in that are not called for, but I just wanted to give it a little bit of, since I was pulling out those threads that were just too similar, I just wanted to add in a little bit. So I think that gives it a good variety. So here's where I'm at. This is the part that Sylvia is stitching. She didn't quite get it finished while we were together, which is fine. And so I finished this cartouche, and then I decided to skip up and stitch the word friendship the night that I worked on this, because it just seemed sort of appropriate, being a friendship sampler and a testament to the friendship between Barb and Alma, and the friendships that we have all made as part of this community. So, yeah. So I worked on that, and I'm glad that I did. It felt good to get that out and work on it. I'd almost forgotten I even had it because it's been so long since I had it out. But all right. So then after all of that, I decided maybe I should actually stitch on the thing I'm supposed to be stitching on. So I did. And I have worked a lot on Sarah. So my goal is to get her done this month. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but that is my goal. So this is Sarah Ann Banton, 1833. This is a reproduction of an antique sampler. This is done by me, and this was released exclusively to the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild for the 20th anniversary, which was last year. And I will be releasing this widely this December. So there is a reproduction, there is an adaptation that is a little bit smaller, that pulls out some of the specialty stitches and replaces them with just cross stitch. So both will be available, or a combination of the two. So the last time you saw Sarah, I was, I was about here. And so since then, I have, well, I'll just show you on the thing. So here's where I'm at. So I'm stitching this on 40 count weeks putty. It does have a greenish cast to it, which is exactly what I wanted because the original does as well. And I am stitching this with the Soie d'Alger on here. It is charted in DMC, and then it was converted to Soie d'Alger, Soie 103, and Gloriana. So you take your pick. So I finished filling in the big basket, and that took a million years. I love the way that it looks, and I want to see how close I can get this to you. So Sarah, when she stitched this basket, she did these stitches that are tall and skinny. So they were over one horizontally and vertically over two. And so that's what she's used to make these outside angles, as well as these diagonals in here. And then this whole section of the diagonals is filled in that stitch. And so it gives it a really interesting texture. And then you can see the two bands below it are over two. And so it really kind of gives you that change in texture, which I think is really interesting. So I finished filling that in. I stitched both of these berry bowls / fruit baskets, and then the satin stitching underneath them, which I think turned out really pretty. It has, you know, that's the thing with silk, is it has that beautiful sheen. So when you do something like a satin stitch, you can really see that shine. Then I did this over one personalization section, and then I have just recently finished this embroidered section. And so I have charted this out in the reproduction. It is basically a combination of doing stem stitch for the vine, outlining these petals, and then filling them in with satin stitch. That's really all it is. It looks harder than it is. Really the hardest part about it is just getting your placement correct. But it is a little forgiving. So that was my first time doing it, and I think it turned out pretty good. So don't be afraid of it. I did bring these two side borders down on both sides. I basically have two more repeats and then the corner. So I'm getting close. And then this past week, I have been working on the bird that is sitting on top of this tree. This is the tree that Adam and Eve are standing underneath down below. So I'm just working my way down. And there's two angels here, there's birds. So it's coming along. I'm quite pleased with it. And despite all of my running around with other patterns, I am quite enjoying Sarah. I think I just sort of lost my brain there for a little bit and just got distracted. So I'm working on this tree. You can see the bird on top. So here's Adam and Eve, angels, birds, shrub, which makes me think of Monty Python. It's a shrubbery, deer, and then that's basically, and then all this grass, and that's basically it. So my goal is, like I said, to get her done this month. We'll see. But if I can keep myself from getting distracted, that might be doable. So, what else have I been working on? So, I have started charting a new antique reproduction sampler. So I'm working on that, and I'm really very excited about it. So I can't really say anymore for now, but just know that I am working on something else and it's pretty fantastic. So I also have two original designs that I'm working on. One is a smaller design, what I would call a medium-sized design. And then I have a large original sampler that I'm working on. So both of those are in the works. I am hoping to get the charting finished on those sometime in the near future. And then I can stitch the models. So more to come on that. But I am glad to finally kind of get going on. One of them has been in the works for a long time, and I've actually made some good progress on it. I sort of lost my excitement for it a little bit because some pieces were released that are similar. But I think that mine is different enough. It has a very different vibe from the ones that were released that I think are a little similar. So I think it'll be fine. And if I'm the only one that stitches it, I'm totally okay with that because I'm charting it because I want to stitch it. So, yeah, so that's what I have worked on. So then let's talk about plans. Obviously, last time, one of my plans was to finish my litha piece that I finished last time, actually FFO it, haven't touched it, and I was supposed to stitch the llamas piece before August 1st. Haven't done that, haven't even pulled the threads. C'est la vie. But in my distracted mode, what I did pull threads for was this. So this is from Whistle Stop Stitcher. This is a freebie of hers, this beautiful moth, and I have been eyeing it for some time now. So I wanted to check out this color of Zweigart linen called Anthracite, which is a really pretty gray. It is a little more blue than it's showing up here, but it is a bluish gray. And I wanted to check out the color, so I ordered a small piece of it in 40 count, and I was kind of thinking I might put this on this. So when, I don't know, I was going to just pull it together and start it, and then I talked sense into myself. I pulled the threads for it. The only thing that I don't have here is the black, but I'm not sure how I feel about these colors. So, and my other concern too is I'm not sure about this. So, we shall see. Oh, and I didn't pull white either. It calls for white. So this gray may be okay because it's fully surrounded by the white and the black, so that may be fine. I may just have to play with it and see what I think. I mean, this blue, there's only, you know, these tiny little bits of blue right here. So we'll see. But I think it's really pretty. I think it's very well done. I think it would be pretty on this, and I thought I might give it a go at some point. And I have this on my Autumn at Lazy Bear Mountain thread drop from Socks for Mum. Because, you know, owl, moon, all the good things. So, I don't know when I'm going to start this. If I'm going to, well, I will start it, but I don't know when. But I am trying to get Sarah done, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. So, otherwise, like I said, I want to get Sarah finished. The other thing is that it is August. It is my birthday month. And last year, I did, you know, I worked on Anne Ufendel for my birthday and had folks join me by stitching on Hands Across the Sea chart of their choosing. I kept thinking about a birthday start, and I may be repeating myself from last time because I don't remember what I talked about, but hopefully I'm not. You know, I thought about starting something for my birthday, which I really like to do, just to have something special to start. My Egypt garden I started one year on my birthday. But I'm kind of in that place of I really want to finish things and not start a bunch of new things. After I just got finished telling you I was going to start that moth, but whatever. So, I had originally kind of thought that for my birthday, I wanted to get Poison Garden, the Chatelaine Designs Poison Garden, and kit that up because I just love it. I absolutely love it. And I've been wanting to stitch it for quite some time now. But when I started totaling it up with all the threads and the crystals and the beads and the fabric and the what you have it, you know, I just got up into that range where I was like, no. Like, I'd really love to stitch it. I just can't. I just cannot see spending that kind of money on something else that's just going to sit here. So, I have other things I could start, but, you know, nothing was really calling to me. And a friend of mine asked me, you know, if you could start anything at all, what would it be? And the thing that immediately popped into my head was this sampler that I'm designing that is something that has been percolating in my head for several years now. And it was actually, I had intended it to be my first design release, but I got kind of paralyzed about it. So La Luna ended up being my first release. But, you know, this sampler is meaningful to me, and so, you know, that's what immediately popped in my head, and I was like, okay, well, there you go. That's what you want to start for your birthday. Maybe you should finish charting it. So I don't know if I'm going to get it finished charting by my birthday. I don't know if I'm going to get Sarah finished stitched by my birthday, but that's what I'm aiming towards. And I'd really, really love to be able to finish Sarah up and then start that new sampler, because I think it's going to be special and meaningful to me. So I'd really like to do that. So we'll see. But that's my ideal set of plans, is to finish Sarah by my birthday and to start my new sampler on my birthday. Stay tuned to find out what happens. So, let's talk about books really quick, and then I think that's probably it for me because I have a headache and yeah. Okay. So when last we met, which is one of my favorite phrases, I was reading Shadow of Night, and I was intent on finishing this before the second season of Discovery of Witches came on TV. I did not make it, but this was very good. I highly recommend this series. This book, to me, is quite different from the first one, but still so good. Very well written and hard to put down. And the series, so we've started watching the series finally now that I finished the book, and it is very good as well. I'm really thrilled with the job that they're doing on the TV series. There is obviously a lot that gets left out, but it's worth a watch and worth a read. So there is one more book in the series, Book of Life, and I will be getting that at some point to add to my collection. Okay, so from there, then I read some ebooks. I read Den of Vipers. So let's discuss. So someone who I trust her judgment on books, because I think she has similar tastes that I do. When she read this book, the review that she gave it was, if like, just read it for the spicy smut scenes and just don't expect a plot. She was not wrong. So it was okay. I think I gave it 1 star, 2 stars, maybe. And I'm pretty much like a solid 4-star, 5-star person, 9 times out of 10. Honestly, the piece that I had, there were two issues that I had with this. So like the premise of this is, there's this, I'm going to say mafia, that's probably not a correct term, but this mafia family that kidnaps this woman, and then it, of course, turns into this whole, reverse harem kind of whatever situation. The two things that I had an issue with this book, so A, if you do not want to read smut, do not read this book. B, if you were looking for a plot, do not read this book. C, even if you do want to read this book for the smut, you need to be aware of the kind of smut that we're talking about. So do your research. Don't say I didn't warn you. But really the two issues that I had with this book were, one, it was probably about twice as long as it needed to be. Because I got to that point where I was just like, are we not done here? Like, I'm just, you know how sometimes when you eat like a huge salad, you get to that point where you're just tired of eating. Like, I've just been chewing and chewing and chewing. Like, I'm just tired of eating at this point. This book is a little bit like that, you know, you just go sort of get to that point where you're like, I'm done here. Is there anything else that we need to cover? I don't think there is. I think we're done. But then it went on 200 more pages. So that was my first issue with it. My second issue with it was, if you were going to write this kind of book, you know, I feel like you have to kind of fully embrace it, meaning if your main character is going to repeatedly say or think things along the lines of, I'm not ashamed of what I like and what I do and the this and the that, the more times you tell me that, the more times it doesn't ring true. Like, if you have to keep reassuring me that she's totally on board with this and it's fine and, you know, she's not apologizing for who she is, who are you trying to convince? You know, if she is really okay with it, just, you know, embrace it, be who you are, do your thing. If you have to keep telling me that you're fine with who you are and you're just going to do your thing, then I'm kind of like, are you though? Anyway, that was probably way more than you ever wanted to know, but this book has been sort of floating around the internet, so if you've seen it, if you are thinking about reading it, just, you know, a couple of cautions there. Then, after that, I read the third book in this series, the Dark Elements series, Every Last Breath. This was really good. This series, the trilogy, very much enjoyed. Recommend. I liked it. It was really good. And so then after I finished that, I was kind of like, now what I'm going to read. And so my friend Annette, again, Annette's Acre, was like, you need to read the Black Jewels series. Annette has been hounding me to read the series like forever. And so I was finally like, all right, let me go see if it's at the library. It is at the library. So I checked it out and started this book. And so the first book, the one I'm reading, is called Daughter of the Blood. And it's good. Anne Bishop. It's good. You know, of course, you initially get that, the whole world building thing, right? Like that you get with fantasy books, where they have to tell you, you know, they're sort of establishing this whole, how all this stuff works. And so that first little bit, I was kind of like, what are we talking about? I don't get it. I don't know what we're doing. You know, but after that initial floundering, then I was okay. And so I'm reading along, and it is continuing to get better and better as I go. And I'm now to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to stitch. I just want to read this book. So I can hear Annette somewhere cackling and saying, yes, this was my intention all along. So I will be continuing with that. I think it's a trilogy, so I think there's a couple more books after this one, which I may just go ahead and read. We'll see. But I am thoroughly enjoying that, and glad to have it. Glad to have something that's keeping my attention. So I will say that I've been doing some website work. I have been working on the Tutor Rose website. So when we initially started our blog, we started over on Blogger, and so when we built this new website, we imported everything over from Blogger, but some of the posts were kind of, they didn't really come over right, and there were posts that had like crazy fonts in them and different colors and, all kinds of stuff. So, plus the photos were still sitting over on Blogger. So I have been, basically on the weekends, I've been sitting and working on, trying to get those corrected, so I was digging back in like the old, stuff from 2009, and trying to get everything, looking nice and reformatted and what have you. So I finally finished that. So that was about, 11 years of posts that needed to be gone through and dealt with. So I finally got that done, which I feel really good about. And then I have been working on trying to catch up a little bit on my own blogs. I have been working primarily on my Cozy Style blog. Specifically, I've been trying to put some posts up about books and, stuff like that. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, feel free to check it out. You can go to my website, CozyEggDesigns.com, and from there you can get to my Cozy Style blog, which is more sort of lifestyle, books, etc., nail polish, whatever. You can get to my Cozyegg blog, which is where I post all of my show notes, photos of my stitching, blah, blah, all that stuff is on there. My Cozy Life blog, which is my essential oils, etc., is there. My patterns are there, like everything's there. So wander around. But I did want to say with the Tutor Rose blog, there's like, 10, 11 years worth of our members stitching on this blog. And so there's a lot of good stuff on there. There is a lot of inspiring work on there, all in one place. And one of the things that I was working on doing was like, putting captions on all the photos so that you know who the designer was and what the pattern name is and all of that, where we had it. But it's well worth a look, if you just have some free time, while you're pretending to work or something and you just look at stitching. Take a look. It's tutorrosesamplerguild.com, and you can just go to the blog, take a look at that, and there's a lot of good stuff on there, so enjoy. I enjoyed it. I kept, like saving photos for myself, like, I want to stitch this, I want to stitch this, I want to stitch this, yeah. So I've been working on websites. One thing I have not been working on is my haunted dollhouse. So I bring that up because Audrey Stitchy Witch sent me a note the other day and said, you need to go check out this new Flosstuber. Her name is Maddie K. And in her second video, she shows this dollhouse that she is working on. And so I of course, you know, you say the magic words to me, and I of course have to go check it out. So Maddie is a lovely person and stitches some fantastic things, so well worth a look. But if you are interested in dollhouses, she is currently working on an abandoned dollhouse. And she did mention that she has done another one that she would show. So at the end of her second video, she does show her dollhouse, and it's in progress. She's a little bit farther along on hers than I am on mine, but it's well worth a watch. So if you're interested, go check her out, Maddie K. I just did a search, Maddie K, on Flosstube, and boom, she popped up. So I don't know if she's on Instagram, but give her a look. So I think that may be everything I have. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's all I got. So maybe it won't be so long before I record again. Maybe it will be. Who knows? But it's August. It's Leo season. It's my birthday month. It's and it's interesting too because Leo season this year is bracketed by full moons. So it was a full moon on July 21st. It's going to be a full moon on my birthday. So, good deal. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. So, more to come. But, you know, we're hanging in, working like crazy, adjusting to our glasses, reading, and trying to get Sarah done, and doing some charting. So, yeah, that's it. I hope that where you are, everything is good. I hope that you are finding enjoyment in your stitching or reading or whatever it is that is bringing you some joy. And thanks so much for coming to visit. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.